It's about time we move away from the media. Please, you people, can you also understand me over here? Why you are putting me in a tough spot?
Let's move on.
There's something that you have mentioned, Ruth, which actually came up when it came to the complexity of handling scandals.
Yeah.
There's the issue of cultural aspects of a country or a particular group that makes the scandal a scandal.
Yeah.
And there's this politician from Canada who claimed that morality changes. That he actually made this statement after being involved in a scandal where he was bribing, and he made the ultimate comeback, just like we saw Waiguru being implicated. Governor Anne Waiguru being implicated in the first NYS issue, but still ended up becoming a governor. You get?
Yeah.
So now he said that morality does change, and the cultural aspects of a nation affects how people perceive a scandal. So I'd like to understand from you: is this true? Do you believe our culture affects what we call a scandal?
Well, I think it's partly true, because what happens is when a society has, and by culture we are talking about norms, established norms and values, and what people believe and hold as the right way in which the society should lead or live, or the manner in which we should live as a society. I think it does affect. And when the politician says that morals do change, morality changes, it's very true. See, when you find a society that has been used to politicians stealing money,
a bribe won't shake them.
Yeah, in fact, like, why haven't you not stolen?
Yeah.
You know, there was this time when persons from the tribes that I am affiliated with, Luya community, there was this time when all these scandals were coming up, NHIF, NSSF, NYS, and then people started asking, Luyas were asking themselves, where are our people in this whole scandal? How come none of us has stolen? How come none of us has participated in these scandals? We need to have a Luya, at least one Luya to put us on the map, you know, to put us on the map. This shows you that we are so used to theft.
Yes.
We are so used to money being stolen. We are so used to public resources being squandered, such that when somebody comes up and when a scandal comes up akin to the nature of Governor Waiguru's scandal,
yes,
surprised. In fact, we are like, wow, you managed to steal all those billions from the government.
We're even
you
so
are
impressed. We are running.
We are impressed, you know. We will vote for you because, and this is the sad reality. Yeah? What happens is people will say, huyu alishaiba kwa gava, so there's nothing left for her to steal. She won't steal from us because she already stole from the government. So I agree with you that our value system and the manner in which, as a society, we handle issues affects how scandals eventually affect the politician's life. You get, like, for instance, if you find a politician, sex scandals mostly, baby daddies. Oh, sijui, this person had a baby daddy, a baby mama, and never took care of the kid.
Yes.
Eventually, the story changes. The person is told, wow, you know, go ahead, multiply and fill the earth. That is what the Bible tells us. So we forget to realize that, look, there's a woman out there who is suffering. There's a woman out there who has a kid that is not being taken care of. And then we turn around the situation and say, even our African culture says, marry as many women as possible, get as many kids as possible, fill the earth. So how we handle scandals is in direct correlation with the kind of value systems and the morals that we have as a country.
Okay.
Benson? On the same, she's overrunning the boy child.
Overruling.
Overrunning. Okay, on the same, our culture is a culture of handouts. You know, we exalt those who come with big cars, who build big houses.
Yes. Actually, by the way, Murkomen had mentioned sometime, sorry to interrupt, there's actually a time Murkomen had said that Kenyans have a tendency to be very hypocritical because there's nothing they hate more than a broke politician.
Oh, yes. If you come there with your morality and you have nothing to give them, they'll chase you away. They will hear you, listen to you, then, sawa.
Asante sana. Then you have potential.
But when you come in a Mercedes Benz, with money, with suitcase of money, that is what they want. They will clap to you. In church they will give you red carpet, and they will celebrate you. That is the Kenya we have, you know, and that's the culture. So we have overexalted people who have money without asking.
Yeah.
Where did they
This
get
money
the
come
money?
from?
Where's
Yeah.
the origin of this cash, you know? So those who steal, and again, another thing is, those who steal, again, they're not persecuted. You know, you steal, you buy your way out.
You buy your freedom.
You know,
You steal
that
and
is
use the
why
money to
people
buy your
say
freedom.
it's rather you go steal millions than stealing a chicken. You get it?
Yeah.
So because the chickens, the person who sells chicken
Will go
will
in.
be will be beaten by the people down there, and they will die. You get it? But the politician, not the politician, that big man who will steal millions up there will come with these millions, celebrate him. You will give him all he wants. He will come to church and be given the top seat, and that is it. He will come and vie for a seat. That's the person you will add again. You will add more riches too, as an MP. So our culture is just our culture, and that is where we must run out. We must run away from. We should tell people that's now where the political mentorship comes in. Why are you
mentorship,
electing someone? Civic education. Why do you elect someone? Do you elect somebody because he has some money? That's the question. So we should get out of that for us to be able to say that really as Kenya, we are headed somewhere. And it's possible. You look at Rwanda. Rwanda was doing badly. You know the history of Rwanda, where it has come from, the genocide and all that. But in Kenya today, Rwanda is number 4, you know, where the corruption index in Rwanda is very low. So it's possible. It's just a one man, one woman to stand up and say it's enough.
So basically, you guys are saying for the current situation, if anybody is wanting to go into power, they better be prepared to break the rules and buy their freedom. I mean, like, wow, that's not very encouraging news for the
It's actually very unfortunate. Because some of us out here are actually thinking about morals. We're actually thinking of transforming our political culture. We are thinking of how do we change the narrative, you know? Because at some point there needs to come a generation that will change the narrative. Because like right now, young people are realizing that with all this corruption that is going on, we are the ones who we are the proverbial ng'ombe, you know, we are the proverbial cow that when two eat grass, we are the proverbial grass that when two cows fight,
when the bulls are fighting, sisi ndio tunaumia.
Nyasi ndio inaumia, you know. So young people are slowly realizing that we are the proverbial nyasi. But then the thing is that we have a choice to either change the narrative or continue with the same narrative, push it on, you know, get in and become even more corrupt, because now, you know, the younger the generation, the more innovative it is. So we have a choice to either use our innovativeness to transform and change the narrative and say that, look, for once we are going to be a generation of leaders with integrity. We are actually going to ensure that the chapter 6 of the Constitution on ethics and integrity, the integrity chapter 6 of the Constitution, will actually be put to play, such that we operate in a manner as the ethics and the integrity chapter talks about, leadership and integrity chapter talks about the fact that, you know, power, authority bestowed upon a leader should be exercised in a manner that brings honor to the office, you know, and integrity to that office. That are we going to be the generation that will say, you know what, we want to bring honor to this office, so that it becomes such an honor to even become a governor. I mean, look at the kind of governors we have today, and I'm not even going to mention names. Some of these governors are the worst examples ever for leadership. And if we are telling young people that, you know, you can also be a leader, you can also be a governor, and then the example of a governor that you're having is one who goes on media and confesses that he has been smoking bangi, you know, confesses that he has been stealing. So you ask yourself, what kind of example are we showing to our generation? Look at other countries. I followed closely the United States primary elections. Sorry, not primary. The last elections that were for the Congress, congressmen and congresswomen and Senate and you know, the House and Senate. And I would see the kind of leaders that were elected, and I still follow them on Instagram, I follow them on Twitter. These are women, especially the women who are elected by the Democratic Party.
You know, I was even going to ask you what kind of the leaders that you admire and those that influence. But
let me tell you,
answering all the
I personally admire women like Maria Contes. You know, she stands up for what she believes in. Ilhan, this woman who came from the Kenyan whatever, the Somalian who was at Kakuma camp. You see, these are women who stand for something. They believe in something. Stacey Abrams, even though she lost, you could see that she was pushing for an agenda. And these are people who, and you see in the United States, you will be, forget about the president. Let's talk about these other leaders. A proper thorough background check will be done on you. By the time you're standing for governor, you have a clean slate, you know. But then in this country, my friend, it's crazy.
There's no
accountability. There is no check. There is nothing. You present your papers to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, but then you're cleared, and yet you have scandals that are dating back to 19 before I was born, you know. So it's crazy. What kind of leadership system are we having in place? And as young leaders, are we ready to change the narrative? Benson Musungu, are you ready to change the narrative? Because, you know, we've heard of political parties.
Do you know
that
they're even afraid of us now? Like,
that's
because
the
of
thing.
the bad example they have set, they're so afraid of us.
Yeah, because now, like, as young people, we will come in and try to change the narrative, you know? And this is where an example of someone like Boniface Mwangi, who was standing up for the truth, even his party is called Ukweli Party. You would see him wanting to change the narrative, pushing for it. But, you know, the system tells you, my friend, are you coming here to change the way things are done, or are you coming here to conform to the system? So we really need to start having conversations around how do we change this narrative. And the narrative can be changed by young people saying that, you know what, in the coming elections we are not going to be bribed, in the coming elections we are not going to be used, in the coming elections we are going to look at what is your track record. Yes.
All right. Actually, you can you please exchange your mic? Sorry, I'm getting information that you should exchange your microphones. All right. Sawa, carry on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We have good laws. Just the Ruth has said. We have good laws. Which the chapter 6, the integrity part of it. That stipulates so well that a leader, a person who's going to be a leader in our country should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, but who looks at who implements that? Nobody does. Nobody implements it. And you have so many other good laws, and we keep enacting laws in this country. You know, the difference between us and the other democracies that have grown over the years, like the US that you're talking about. One time I was in Denmark for their election, and it was super. You look at the kind of leaders, you look at the way election is done, and you wonder, where did we go wrong as a country? But again, you tell yourself, okay, maybe we are still a young democracy. Them, they are in hundreds or 200 years of a democracy. You know?
That's
and
true.
It's an election day. People just leave their homes and go vote. And there are no campaigns. They are voting purely on issues. You know, all the candidates are there, and they are campaigning purely on issues. You know, that is where we are. That's where we must get as a country, and we must do it as the youth. We must start it. You know, the youth are the people.
Do you know you have what I've had? When I've been listening to the two of you over here, you guys have not mentioned any Kenyan leaders that you admire. Everybody else from outside Benson has not said any.
It is so unfortunate.
No, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, or not that we don't have leaders here who made it.
Oh yeah, at least that's okay.
Yeah, but we have people in Kenya again. The leaders we have in Kenya
we have the
who tried.
Makweni governor.
Who tried? He's not doing well. Even my governor in where I come from, in Kakamega, is not doing well. You know, if you look at what he has done, if you look at what he has done with the little amount he has been given, that is the governor. Wananchi usema eti huyo ndio amesoma katiba kaelewa what is devolution.
I like that
because he has tried. You can see the transformation of Kakamega. You know?
So for you that accounts for something we can look up to.
Yes.
Regardless of people who also don't have the scandals as well.
And again, I've seen a person who was a watchman go campaign with no money and still doing his watchman job and won an MCS seat. And still he does not believe that he has won in Kenya. He still goes back to work every day morning for at least 3 weeks to be sure that really he has won as an MCA.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
It's easy. It's there. It's working.
It's working. And so there are some who we can look up to.
Just pound, and continue pounding.
Okay. I like that. I like the fact that you've mentioned the leaders that you admire and at least you look up to. So let's talk about the scandalous ones. In the event that... okay. Maybe I should direct this one to you, Ruth.
Okay.
When a scandal... When something blows up and it's about you as a political actor and it is not true, for example, it is not true, what do you do? What should you do even before the media, before it's proved that it is not true, and after it is proved that it is not true? Like even in the case of our governor from Migori, Obado, you know, he's had a case where the allegations we don't know whether they've been proven true or false. What should somebody do if the allegations are not true? Like in your case as well, what should somebody do?
Number one, you need to just first of all calm down.
Calm down.
Calm down, because if it is not true, then it is not true. If you know you didn't do what has been alleged of you, you have to just calm down. You see, most of the times you panic because you know it is true, and you know it is going to have it's going to have implications upon you, and you don't know how things are going to turn out. But if it is not true, you just first of all calm down. Number two, stop engaging people online, you know, trying to prove that it is not true. The more you insist on proving that it is not true, the more you show people, the more you appear as
defensive.
As if you're defensive, as if there is something you're trying to hide. I think for me, I made that mistake immediately after doing the expose. I started responding to people, you know, responding to people who are calling me con men. And a friend of mine called me and told me, Ruth, first of all,
relax.
Just calm down. You know it is not true, right? You relax, you know. Stop responding to these people, because the more you respond to them, the more they think you're hiding something.
That's true.
Take time, let the scandal, first of all, let the heat calm down. And meanwhile, as the heat is calming down, have your strategy. The strategy being, how do I eventually communicate after this, all of this heat has died down?
Yeah.
How do I eventually communicate to people that, okay, so this is it. This is what I have been accused of. This is my evidence that I was not involved in that particular scandal. I was not involved in stealing maize. I was not involved in stealing money that belongs to the county government. So you need to take some time back and now develop, as the scandal is running, have your strategy team working. I remember a friend of mine, she's a CEC, a very young lady, a CEC of Vihiga County. She had been accused of squandering county government money, which and the story turned out not to be true. It was actually not a true story, and they wanted to impeach her. So she was very panicked. She was panicking. She didn't know what to do. She was running around, you know, almost losing her mind. And she got a team of guys, and I was part of the team that was trying to strategize as to how she will respond to the committee of inquiry. And the manner in which she would respond such that her truth would come out. So as the story is running, as the heat is going on, gather your evidence. Gather your evidence, bring your team together, have advisors, don't depend on yourself, don't rely on yourself, because in as much as you will calm down, some of the things that people will say about you
will affect you,
you know. They will affect you. You'll start asking yourself, so now that this person is insisting on social media that I am also a con man, and they also have a huge following, what does that have? How is that going to impact me in a particular way? How does it impact my brand? How does it impact who I am and the manner in which the society views me? So once you have gathered your evidence, bring together your team, and after everything has calmed down, when now people are sober, unleash your truth. Tell them, this is it. I have been accused of this. However, in my defense, it is not true. On that particular day when it is said I was at that venue, I was not there. Here is where I was here. This person can vouch for me. Here are the timestamps. Here is the evidence. Come up with all your evidence such that by the time you're done, people will just be like, okay, so what did we do? And you see, the thing is, if you eventually prove that you are actually not involved as it was alleged, what ends up happening is that your credibility goes up.
Yes,
you know. And then the other thing is, my friend,
so the scandals can work to your advantage.
They can work to your advantage. The other thing is that take legal action. If somebody has thoroughly tarnished your name, defamed you, that you can sue for defamation. And my friend, you will make a lot of money.
I like that.
Yes, you will.
Okay, business opportunity right there. But it's almost time we conclude this segment, so let's make our answers real quick. Benson, what would you do if a scandal blew up about you and you know that it is not true?
We need to know.
But have you had a scandal?
Political scandal.
Microphone.
I've not had like
To
the extent, but
You've had
yes,
some.
I've had some. Yes, and really, the best thing is just to stop, first and think. Yes.
Stop and think.
Yes, because
that is calm down, basically.
Calm down. If you react on them, then you escalate them.
Yeah, you escalate
So
the
just
issue.
keep off. Let them say. At the end, when you're not talking, they will have to look for you now, ask you,
And
what
ask
do
you your
think?
side of the story.
What is this?
Yeah.
This true? Because I can see, you're not talking about it.
Yeah.
And that's the best way of handling such. But again, mostly when these things happen, mostly they're true.
Actually, mostly that's true.
Mostly
Okay,
they're
because
true.
my next question was actually on
Mostly.
what if it is true?
Yeah.
What
Mostly
do you
they're
do?
true. Especially the people in the public domain. Most of these things that you hear happen, they are true.
Ruth,
But
so
only
is it
that-
true and we
only
don't...
that-
I am not in the public domain. I was
Only-
a private citizen
only-
until my scandal came up.
Yes, only that now, what now they do is they retrieve and go and clean up. And the cleaning up now is where we go back where we started. You have money to wash yourself through the media. You have the money to wash yourself through other means, including looking for those particular people.
So if it is
who
true, you
started
have
these
the money
scandals.
to wash yourself.
Even others has been dirty. Others has gone dirty to the point of even others killing others, witnesses. You get it?
Yes,
Yeah. So it happens so. Yeah, and that is in our society. Yeah.
I like that. So
What if it's
it
true?
is true, go and wash it up. Go
No,
and
if it is true, eat your
Mostly
tomatoes.
it's true.
eat your tomatoes.
Yeah, mostly it's true.
I like the pun intended.
But at the end, it's washed. It's washed, and the person who blew it up now is either dealt with financially or even death.
Which
Yeah.
is unfortunate. I think sometimes when something comes up that you did and you honestly know that you did it, just admit, admit.
But some of
like
these things might have very
like in my
dire
case,
consequences.
remember the perpetrator, the conman admitted, went to the
Yeah.
media and said,
He
by the way,
admitted.
everything is true,
It's
you
true.
know.
Sasa ni kubaya,
But then
now
you see the
everything
problem
has-
is the problem is when you admit without going back and actually compensating or repatriating the victims in your case,
okay.
like if for instance it is said you stole someone's money, admit that you did it and pay back that money, if it is said you impregnated someone, you're a politician, you impregnated a woman and are not taking care of the kid, admit that kid is yours, because at the end of the day DNA doesn't lie. The kid will look like you, like
That's
no one's
true.
business,
Yeah.
and it will be difficult to deny it.
Yes.
Admit that indeed you're on the wrong and make things right. I believe we are a forgiving society.
Yeah.
However, forgiveness must be matched with justice. Let's not just forgive and say, oh, please forgive me, and you're not going back to actually take care of the victims and compensate them. So admit and compensate. Yeah.
In other countries,
I like
of course,
that. Admit and
and
compensate.
Yeah.
In other countries, by the way, leaders just get out and
they step
admit.
down.
They
Yeah.
admit.
And they even resign.
resign.
That's true.
Like
You know?
a good example is of President Nixon, Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
When the Watergate scandal came out, he actually, investigations were done, and when he was going to be impeached, he said, you know what, let me just step down.
Yeah.
He admitted that he indeed was involved in it, and he actually stepped down, and the president that came after him, President Ford, actually pardoned him,
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes it doesn't have to be the
And
bigger person.
in North Korea, Park, the lady who was here some times ago, she was here, and when she went back, she was impeached. After being impeached, what happened? The case went on, and right now she's serving 25 years imprisonment.
Wow.
That's a former president, immediate former president. She's serving. That's the laws that you're talking about. Can that happen in Kenya today?
I do not know. You let us know. Maybe in the future we will know.
Yeah, afraid
But
so.
you guys, I think it's about time we conclude this segment. Thank you guys so much for coming and letting us know how you people deal with your own scandals as well. And people shouldn't fear.
Especially
Yes.
Yeah,
And what do you mean, especially? Don't
Let's give
victimize her.
She's given us real time response. On
But it's true, real time. Real time. I like that. In fact, that's exactly why I wanted her here, because she has now authority on the subject.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you so much for coming, you guys. God bless you. Please come again for Youth and Politics, especially now when we're talking about women leaders.
Yeah,
So it's about time I collect your passing shots. Yeah. You can tell us some of the lessons you'd wish to share with the people at home when it comes to leadership. Real quick.
Okay. All I'll say is that there is hope. There is hope in Kenya. There is hope that we as a country, we can move in the right direction if we decide. And because of the few things we've seen change in this country. So I'm calling upon the youth. They should not give up. I know corruption and bad manners and thievery has really taken away what they deserved.
Yeah.
But then they must still be hopeful. Things are changing, even in this regime of handshake. Yeah, there's so much that is changing.
Benson,
This is the first time we've had the a conference, an anti-corruption conference in this country, and you can see the things that were unearthed and the progress that came from there. So let's be hopeful. Let's be enthusiastic. We have a nation as a young people, and there is a greater future. Let's just do our small bit as the youth and show the direction.
I like that, Benson. Thank you.
I mean, for me, my parting shot would be that never underestimate a group of young people committed to make a difference.
I like that.
And when I mean a group of young people, I mean it could be 2 young people, it could be 3 young people saying, you know what, enough is enough, the narrative needs to change. Never underestimate that group of young people. And we need to start forming and creating that group of young people that will say, we shall not be overshadowed by politics, we shall not be overshadowed by the happenings, the current happenings, we shall not lose hope that we can actually have a transformation in terms of leadership, in the leadership of our country. And not only are we to keep up the hope, but we should immerse ourselves and we should take up those leadership positions ourselves, you know, to make that difference. And for the young people, when the young people stand and say, elect me, I intend to be that voice of difference, I intend to be the one that brings about the change. Can we trust them? Trust them without the money, trust them without the big cars, trust them without the fame, you know? When people like me in 2022 decide to throw our hats in the ring, please trust us.
Twende kazi. I like that. Thank you so much for coming today, Ruth. I like that. Don't give up. Let us not give up as a nation. We will not be nyasi for too long. So yes, you've been watching Youth and Politics, and we've been letting you know how to deal with a scandal. In case you do want to take up a position of leadership, do not fear. You have heard it from the horse's mouth that these things, they also pass. They pass with time. So please, I hope you paid attention. But in case you missed any of the valuable insight discussed here, you can find us at Y254 channel on YouTube, so you can check out Ruth in case you missed it. And Benson, thank you guys so much for coming. And yes, goodbye. It's about time I tap out.